Kane's Wrath is an amazing RTS, and in RTSs, you use your mouse and keyboard to quickly and effectively enact strategies to pummel your opponent. But what if you took away the mouse? Well, that's exactly what I did, and I fought every level of AI to assert my dominance. And by golly, I will make it work. Alright, game 1. I started out fighting an easy AI just to test out the concept. I chose Black Hand because I had the most experience playing them, and I'm just better with them. That might just be because they're overpowered though. I was pretty clumsy in the first game. I knew generally what the hotkeys were, but I didn't have any muscle memory, so I had to think about what I had to press before pressing it. And the trackpad. Oh, the trackpad. I don't know if it's a low quality one, or if I'm just bad, but it seemed like sometimes when I press it, the game just doesn't acknowledge that I did anything, which led to me being even slower and more frustrated. I found out that I was playing against some sort of Nod faction, but I didn't know which one, not that I know how to counter any of them or anything. I started building a small infantry army to disrupt the enemy and moved my MCV to the bottom Tiberium fields to increase my profits. My MCV got attacked by raider buggies, so I sent my troops to dispose of them. While that was going on, I learned of the pain of placing buildings with a trackpad. The enemy struck back with even more raider buggies, but they made a huge mistake. I had Purifying Flame unlocked, so my Black Hand demolished them very swiftly. I decided that I didn't like the enemy poking at my base, and I sent all the infantry I had on the bottom of the map and sent them to destroy their base. The enemy base crumbled quickly, and I got the dub. Game 2 time. Now with some experience under my belt, I'm a bit more confident in my abilities, but I'm still afraid of the brutal AI. In this game, I completely forgot to build the Hand of Nod before the refinery, so I got a disadvantage in the race for the Tiberium spike in the middle. Fortunately, I was only facing a medium AI. Oh look, I forgot to sell the Hand of Nod. My scouts found out that I was either against Skrin or Traveler 59, which is bad because I have a track record of losing to Skrin as Black Hand. I decided to make my mistake into a plan by training some militant rocket squads to counter the Seekers I'd encountered a little bit ago. With my middle secured, I put some troops in buildings and moved my MCV to the bottom to start making a secondary base there. The AI almost successfully defeated my little encampment in the middle, so I had my remaining infantry destroy the bridge to give myself some time to send reinforcements. The enemy sent buzzers to garrison a building near the bottom of my base to scout it, so I sent the few troops I had to flush them out and to protect it. Counterattacks were attempted, but they were no match for my Black Hand squads, and the AI sent one of its harvesters to the bottom, which was a mistake. I had almost destroyed it, then sent my guys to do some damage while I built up more of an army. This time, the AI actually tried to stop me, but they were too late. I had already done too much damage for them to recover, and it was all over after that. Game 3, and this time I was facing up against a hard AI. Right off the bat, I started building the refinery again. This time, however, I realized it and restarted, because I knew that this time it would matter. I got my act together and found out that my opponent was once again a Nod faction. I guess it's not impossible to get another one, but I was hoping to fight a GDI faction to change it up a bit. For the first time, I sold my war factory, which I would later find out that was a bad idea depending on who you're fighting, because your enemy could just use a ton of slingshots, gunwalkers, or scorpion tanks to just crush your army. As per usual, I sent my MCV to the bottom to make another base, and sent reinforcements to the middle to protect my Tiberium spike and burn the bridge. The AI sent 2 attack bikes, presumably to harass my harvesters, but just went around the long way to destroy my Tiberium spike. Let's just say that it didn't work. While I was distracted with that, the enemy snuck up to my bottom base with an engineer and captured my refinery. My troops started to destroy it, and I wasn't able to call them off in time. I struck back by sending some troops to the bottom and top parts of the base to cause some chaos. The top invasion didn't work very well, but the bottom one was able to wipe out the whole base. It's boss fight time. I was very nervous to fight the brutal AI. I've beaten them before, but not without a mouse. And you'll never guess what mistake I made. I tried building the refinery first. Yay! Who would have guessed? Instead of restarting, I decided to just live with my mistake. As I was capturing the Tib spike, my scout spotted something. Buzzers. Uh-oh, I'm going to be stomped, I thought to myself, but I pressed on. As I was building my base, I decided to skip a third power plant and went for the operations center to upgrade my existing power plants instead, which backfired a bit. Instead of waiting for the $500, I started building a Hand of Nod, which caused me to stay in a blackout for longer than necessary. I finally got power back and started training an army. I sold my war factory again, which will prove to be a mistake. The AI sent some buzzers and knocked out my guards for my Tiberium spike, so I sent my only few troops to gain back some ground. Once my MCV made it to the bottom, I tried to build a refinery and I tapped on the icon, but I missed that it didn't register. I sent my few troops from earlier to the enemy base as a preemptive attack, to at least slow them down. Unfortunately, they had a gunwalker, and it literally walked all over my troops. I finally realized that I didn't actually queue up that refinery, so I rectified that as soon as possible. My little posse was able to do a bit of damage before succumbing to buzzers and gunwalkers. Purifying Flame and Black Disciple were done, so I sent a second mini wave against the enemy. As I finally placed that refinery, my bottom base got attacked and I lost my Hand of Nod. I built some defenses to chip away at them while some Black Hand squads were on their way. The attack was suppressed, but an assimilator snuck into my base and captured my operations center. My opponent sent a decent force to the middle and started to attack my Tiberium spike. I rallied what few units I had left and sent them to the middle to at least keep the enemy at bay. Wave 2 was sent against me at the bottom and I was even less prepared than last time. I accepted defeat at the bottom and was able to sell off my MCV before it was destroyed. They sent the rest of the attacking party upward, and I held them back, but it was no use. More units were on their way and there was nothing I could do. As a last-ditch effort, I sent all my remaining units to the enemy base to see if I could squeak out a victory. My attempt failed miserably, and I accepted defeat. That's not all, folks. I hate losing. So after reaching 150 hours in-game, I retried my hand at fighting a brutal AI with no mouse, 2 months later. Redemption time. I have been practicing mostly Black Hand in my about 15 hours of practice, so I was prepared. I played on a different map than the other matches, but that shouldn't affect the results too much. I must have pressed the Windows key or something, but I accidentally exited out of Kane's Wrath, and when I got back, the recording would lag really hard in some spots. I was able to capture the bottom Tiberium spike and almost capture the top one too, but the AI got there just before I did, and garrisoned some nearby buildings. Instead of building most of the rest of my infrastructure, I decided to move my MCB to the next Tiberium field to get ahead on resources, because the brutal AI is almost always better at it than me. I used a tactic that I had learned in my practice, where you take some of your harvesters from your first field and send them to the new one to not deplete the first one so quickly, and to make the new refineries more effective. The enemy attacked my lower Tiberium spike, and I saw that it was marked of Kane, and that they had Scorpion tanks. I knew that if I wanted to survive that before I had Purifying Flame, I had to build flame tanks, something I learned during my practice. I foolishly decided to attack my opponent's second base before I got either Purifying Flame or Black Disciples, and I got attacked from behind, which is something I really need to work on. I was able to stop the ambush with some units I had been building while I was attacking the second base, but I lost a refinery and quite a few harvesters. Before I knew it, I was being attacked again. This time, I had almost nothing to stop it. You can't really see it here, but the AI destroyed some of my buildings, and then just taunted me by poking at my MCV with a singular Scorpion tank. After some unnecessary reinforcements came over, I got pummeled. What did I learn? I learned that having a mouse isn't vital for playing Kane's Wrath, but you're severely handicapped by not having one. Thanks for watching. See ya.